Hello, Internet, and welcome to SonyCentric, the Outerhaven's official PlayStation podcast. I'm your host, Jason Kwasnicki, and I'm joined here today by the loyal Mark Sullivan.
What's good?
We are also joined by fifth or sixth times the charm, Delilah Lugo, Assassina-san.
Hello.
And he's back! Cody Maynard, folks.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Cody, what?
I'll be back, man.
How'd you come to that Twitter handle?
Cody?
How is it available? Sounds like it would be taken.
Available.
Nah, man, his Twitter handle's CF Maynard, man.
Well, it's at
that.
CF Maynard, but then the
Oh.
name is Cody.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
got
you're
that
right.
nice
My bad.
nickname.
Yeah, that was just a nickname.
It's a good nickname.
Correcting you
Rolls off
on
the
Twitter
tongue.
handles, dude.
Man, well, we're just off to a start today. This is SonyCentric number 23. You might be thinking to yourself, this is a bit early, Jason. What's going on? Are you trying to get it in before Monday so it might be retroactively on time? No, folks, we had to do a special episode. Yeah, because I'm always late. I always try to get it in on Monday night and then something fucks up. I forget to leave it rendering before I go to work, and then it comes out like really early Tuesday morning. But no,
Okay.
this is a special episode because so much shit dumped this week. We got a huge list that we have to go
Wait.
down.
But why did so much stuff dump? Like what?
I don't know. There's a little ditty coming on this weekend, going into next week.
Is it spelled with 3 E's?
It's actually spelled with a lot of E's. There's an L, there's a C, there's a T, an R. There are actually multiple of these things. I don't know. This is like Wheel of Fortune right now. Can I buy a vowel, please? Yeah, E3's coming, so we got lots of quote-unquote leaks, news, probably shit people trying to get out of the way beforehand. And there was enough that we felt it required another episode, fortunately for you folks.
An extra. We're working overtime for you guys.
Yes, we are.
Appreciate it.
But stay tuned, we're going to have a post-Sony conference show. It'll probably be out Tuesday next week. The conference is Monday night. Be there or be square. We were going to have a live show, but Mark cheated on us.
I'm sorry. It's gonna be so cool though. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have a story to tell, and you guys are gonna be like, "Oh man, I'm so jealous."
In other news, Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, it has robot dinosaurs.
Robo dinosaurs.
We got a
Robot
trailer.
deer.
We know we'll be able to ride those robots. I'm really excited about that. What I'm not excited about is it's been delayed to February 28th of 2017. It was originally slated to come out this fall. This was made official on the PlayStation blog by Herman Hulse. I don't know how to pronounce it. From Guerrilla Games, his project manager over there. He says that they need more time to polish it, perfect it, which has kind of become the go-to line for devs this generation. I mean, in all likelihood, it's probably true to an extent. Although, I would speculate they're making some room for some other goodies this fall.
I certainly hope so.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Well, we'll get more into this after the fact of E3 and everything, but this already kind of affects one of my predictions from our episode 20 prediction show.
Yeah, me too.
I thought they were going to be completely adamant on a 2016 release until sometime after E3. Turns out, nope, they're going to go ahead and right now and say it's delayed to February next year. I'm assuming during the conference we'll get a new gameplay demo to hopefully satiate some of the anger behind or surrounding the fact that they delayed it. But I don't know. Hopefully their conference has stuff that's coming out this year, because we're falling into another trap that we had last year where all the first party stuff wasn't coming until the next year. And if they don't have any first party stuff for the fall again, it's gonna be a bummer.
Mr. Odie, what do you think about this situation?
Nah, I think it's the same thing. Like, I was sort of surprised with the delay, delay announcement so close, but I think it's the same thing. You're trying to, like, put it out there so that at E3 you're not bummed about it when they're like, oh, coming out this year. It's like, oh, well, E3 sucked. So in that way, you're like, oh no, it's not coming out, and then you get E3 and you get like a really nice trailer or something, some gameplay, and you say, oh, okay, looks good.
Mrs. Lugo?
I think they played Uncharted 4 and they were like, we need to step it up. We need some time.
See, there's the optimism.
Yo,
this is why you have a lady on the podcast. She brightens the day.
Yeah, I mean, this game, it just looks so good, and I think a lot of people have very high expectations of it, and I think they really want to meet those expectations, so they're like, let's just take our time and do it.
And I'm definitely not opposed to that, like, especially because I really, really respect Guerrilla. I think I've said it on the show before. Killzone 2 is hands down, if not definitely my favorite first-person shooters of all time. They crushed it with that game.
You know what they didn't crush it with?
What?
Killzone 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on.
Halo killer.
The Halo killer, yeah.
But I think that's why they feel such pressure on this right now, is that, they got lucky.
They got such great reception off its first showing, and I totally respect them for... a delayed game will be good eventually.
Some Miyamoto quotes right now.
Famous Miyamoto quote, and I want this game to be great because I really want Guerrilla to see some more mainstream success outside of Killzone. This is like a common theme, I feel like, with this week. The reason we're doing the show is because so many things were revealed ahead of E3. It makes me wonder what they have to show, and especially Sony with delaying this big first-party title. I want to know what they have to show because I want to know what they have this fall.
For sure.
I think that is their strategy. Yeah. I mean, we also have to keep in mind VR, which we don't talk about a lot in the show. Really, because
a while, for sure.
Yeah, because there isn't a whole lot to talk about. They got a few games that they've shown, like substantive games. I mean, things like they have the Ace Combat now. They have what is that competitive mech shooter?
Riggs.
That's it.
Yeah.
Real concrete things. They don't have very much, and I think we'll see more of that in this show. But I do think we'll get a few console games.
Biggest issue, the reason we don't really talk about VR much on this show, and the reason why it's not on too many people's radar, is because the majority of the people that get to actually try the VR are just the press.
Right.
It's not like something like everyone's looking forward to VR, but nobody's in the general populace has really had the chance to try it.
That's what I was gonna say. Nobody has it,
I was at PAX, and the line that was there for VR, even if even if I didn't have a billion other things to do at PAX, right, and I was just there to see VR, there was a good chance I wasn't gonna get to see it. Ugh. I could have waited in that line for hours.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't have been able to try some of the other things you got to try, like Hob and I Am Setsuna and things like that. You would have been just dedicated to that VR line. That would have been a shame.
I am interested in seeing or hearing how many people are interested in buying VR, or saying yeah, I'll definitely get it as soon as it's available or something. Or I know it's been pre-orders are sold out or something like that. And then after the E3, how many people are saying, oh, now I'll definitely get it? What are they going to show? I mean, if it's going to make that as big of an impact.
Well, just to quickly plug, we just published an expectations article about what to expect from Sony's conference, and one of the things that was mentioned by several of us is more VR games, and namely ones that are going to want to sell the system, going to make the consumer want to buy it, because most of what we've seen has just been tech demos.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't really been that game that's a game, There's been a couple, but we haven't seen much of those.
And a lot of the things on rails, you're going to sit here and be in a shooter or be in a ship, or so like the Eve Valkyrie thing or something like that.
So yeah, with that coming this October, we definitely need to expect them to have a showing of games coming to VR this fall, but not everyone's getting VR, so they need to have something besides VR stuff that is gonna hit that itch, for people like you and I, or all of us really, all.
I think they will, and I think don't forget we have Gran Turismo Sport coming in November.
Yeah. So
we do have one, and then that is it might not be a big deal to us, but it's a huge deal, especially in Europe. And I think they're leaving open the fall, right? I think they were pushing back this game. I would believe that they needed some more time, probably, but I think they're also making room for there's going to be at least one surprise fall release, Fallout style.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think the industry has seen, but let's not make this too much of an E3 episode. because we got a lot to go through.
Yeah, we do have a lot to go through.
So, up next, Mark, I think you're pretty excited about this game.
Yeah. Ukulele, but it was unfortunately delayed until Q1 of 2017.
If you didn't already get it by now, 2017 is going to be a trend in this episode.
Yeah, it's going to be a trend probably this whole E3.
Yeah.
Hashtag delayed to 2017.
Another 2017 game and another trend, Final Fantasy remasters.
Oh, well, we're gonna go ahead and step into Mark's JRPG corner here because
Whoa.
Mark and Jason's fucking JRPG corner. All right, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're into a lot of the like really niche JRPG stuff that like I would never touch. But like Final Fantasy, that's like my childhood, dude.
And that's my childhood.
Oh
too.
yeah,
I feel like that's the show's bread and butter. I feel for the most part. We surprisingly all love Final Fantasy a lot.
Final Fantasy is buried deep in our loins.
Very, very deep just very deep in there.
So as for the news,
yeah. Enough about our loins.
Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. We are finally getting a Final Fantasy XII remaster, and it's going to be what was it originally called?
It was the Final Fantasy XII International Zodiac Job System.
Right, and explain that.
That came out about a year. I believe Final Fantasy XII came out in Japan originally in 2005, late 2005. Came out here in North America late 2006, and then the international version was released in 2007 only in Japan. And what that does is it adds a job system to the game so that not everybody shares the same license board, which is the method of progression in the game. People specialize in a specific job class, so you'll assign Vaughn to be a black mage, and he will have his own black mage license board. And that's how he progresses throughout the rest of the game.
So no exploiting, no making everybody good at everything.
Right, no clones of clones of clones, which is a thing that I personally dislike in my JRPGs. Right. And now we have actual characters with specializations, which in this game, in my opinion, fixes everything wrong with it.
It was really the only thing. It was the main thing I think wrong with it.
Pretty much the main and only thing wrong with this game. So it is a very, very stellar JRPG, and I'm so happy that it's finally coming west outside of Japan. It's going to be localized, and we are finally going to experience the way this game should have been.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about Final Fantasy XII that it's pretty much just Star Wars Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy : Star Wars.
And you know what?
And that there's too much politics in it. There's too much brooding storytelling, and I'm like, dude, that's what made old school Final Fantasies great.
Here's the best thing about that is like play Tactics and you.
It's the same world as Tactics, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you just look at the reception of Tactics, and Tactics is so beloved. People love Tactics. I've never seen a bad thing said about Tactics, and yet this game, the politics ruin it. And I don't understand that.
I loved it when it came out.
This game is severely underrated. It is severely underappreciated, and this is only going to make it better. If you have not played Final Fantasy XII, I urge you to purchase this when it comes out.
And if you don't believe us, IGN made a top list.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy XII came in, second or third?
It was number 2, and you know what? Respect to all those people, all those fine folks at IGN. They got it right, for sure.
I haven't played it since it was released, so...
You know what? I actually started replaying it last fall, and I don't see the need to finish it. I'm just going to wait.
Oh, yeah.
I actually started replaying it because I was getting tired of waiting for this to happen, and it finally is happening, so...
So let's continue with the Square news. Mark, you're excited about this upcoming title.
I am very much more excited about this now. World of Final Fantasy is coming out this year on October 25th. The thing about this game is I don't particularly like the art style, but upon seeing more of what this game is and how it's going to play, it looks like a much better RPG than I originally suspected it would be.
Yeah, it's got the stacking system, right?
Yeah, and it's basically I don't know. I know, Jason, you're a little familiar with it just because I've brought it up plenty of times because I actually really love this game. There's a mobile game for Final Fantasy called Final Fantasy Record Keeper that is very, very nostalgic.
Mobile.
but it's very, very nostalgia driven. You basically collect characters from all the Final Fantasy games, and you use them to make parties and basically play out old school Final Fantasy battles and stuff. This is basically a console version of that. That's a fully fledged out RPG because it is going to be utilizing characters from all throughout the entire series. And the wonderful thing I saw within this trailer, within the first 15 seconds, was they had small glimpses focusing on characters like Celis from Final Fantasy VI, and Edgar from Final Fantasy VI, Ferris from Final Fantasy V, and they even had Shulk from Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII, which I was blown away by the fact that they're actually delving into the spin-offs of some of these games. They are really going all out to bring in pretty much everything from their history.
Which I hope they continue to. I actually am looking forward to the day when we see like a Final Fantasy multiverse game. Like a full-fledged Final Fantasy that takes place across a multiverse. Honestly,
that's pretty much what this is seeming like. Art style aside, just the fact that it's very chibi and childish, which in my opinion, and I could go into this at length about how I feel this game has a bit of an identity crisis. This looks like a Final Fantasy like multiverse game where it's just combining everything, and it's got its own narrative. If you look at the article that I put up about it, just what the small little story synopsis Square gave everybody, it does have its own story with these two people and the world of Grimoire.
Yeah.
But this does look like much more of a fully fledged out RPG than I originally thought, and I'm vastly more excited about it now.
I hope so. My loins, man, they speak to me. They're throbbing with excitement.
The warm loins.
You know what they're not excited about? Fucking Kingdom Hearts.
Yo.
Ugh.
Aww.
I know you're excited, Mark. I was just trying to bust your balls.
So, segue. More Kingdom Hearts news. We got a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Which does not include the actual Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay, so here's the thing. Kingdom Hearts 2 was in 2.5. 2.8 is basically because... And Nomura tried to explain this math. 2.8 has Dream Drop Distance, which he considers a 2.6 of sorts. And we're getting a Birth by Sleep sequel, and Birth by Sleep to him is 0.1, so the Birth by Sleep sequel would be 0.2. So combine the two of those, you get 2.8.
Wow.
I don't know how much math he learned. I love the man to death, but Kingdom Hearts is so convoluted, even in its titling, that it's just so far gone at this point. I don't even know what more to say about it. But the trailer makes everything look really great, especially 0.2 Birth by Sleep, which is, by the way, supposed to be sort of a tech demo, sort of a gameplay demonstration of how Kingdom Hearts 3 will play. So if you're interested in Kingdom Hearts 3 at all, you should pick up this title. And all they said about release was that it's coming in December.
Okay.
Which actually makes my prediction from episode 20 wrong as well. Bad music. Yeah, well. But they also said that Kingdom Hearts 3 information is also coming this winter, so I guess that means it's not going to be at E3 at all?
No.
Right.
I told you. Final Fantasy 15 all the way.
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of a shame, just because they've been focusing so much on 15. I feel like there's not that much more they need to say about it.
Well, I mean, a lot is hinging on that game.
No, you're right. You are right, and I do understand the push for that game, but people really, really want Kingdom Hearts.
Either of you guys, Cody, Delilah, are you Kingdom Hearts fans?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love them.
I'd be getting it to complete my 1.5 and 2.5 collection.
After one, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on.
Dude, I still don't understand what the fuck is going on.
It's pretty difficult.
I can't play an RPG like that.
Like people
too.
give Metal Gear shit for being convoluted, and I look at them and say, look, you don't understand convoluted until you play Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
It's so much worse than Metal Gear ever was.
I mean, also,
go
I
ahead.
had Dream Drop Distance for the 3DS, and I I abandoned my 3DS, so hopefully this will give me some time to focus on it a little more.
Oh, I'm absolutely looking forward to playing through that game again, just because that game was a lot of fun, and I want to give it another chance just from a story standpoint to try and understand it, because it makes sense, but...
Yep.
I'm excited to play that game again.
Some more JRPG news, actually. I think this is the last bit, but for many, this is some of the biggest news. A lot of people are waiting on this game. The Persona series is kind of on a precipice right now. It gained a lot of fame, kind of ironically, from the Vita port of Persona 4 Golden.
Ironically?
Well, given the status of the Vita.
Say that as if it's undeserved.
No, it's more ironic just because of the Vita.
I know.
Come on, Mark.
By the way, if you don't have a Vita, buy one.
I guess. Yeah, whatever.
Hashtag Vita rules.
But yeah, I mean, it seems weird to me just because I have Persona 4 still for the PS2, and like the game's been out fucking forever, and it took a Vita port of it for people to realize, oh, this is a pretty dope JRPG series. But fans have been looking forward to Persona 5 forever, and it
2014.
recently. Yeah.
2014. Yep.
And it recently got a release date for Japan, which I'm not sure, but it's this year. It's coming out this year in Japan.
I believe September 15th, 2016.
Yeah, it's like neck and neck with Final Fantasy 15. And so people were wondering, is this international? Nope, it is not. It will be coming out here, stateside, or North America, I should say, on February 14th, 2017.
Valentine's Day. Tell your wives.
That game, does have me excited.
Gotta play some JRPGs.
Yeah, play a JRPG where you can get into fake relationships.
Oh,
sob over how you don't have one.
Through relationships, gotta do those social links.
The game does have an interesting aesthetic, though. It's funny to see how it's kind of progressed. I remember back in the day, looking at articles for like the first few Persona games. They seemed much darker and grittier, like the old school PS2 games. And I think the first one was a PS1 game. Am I correct or am I wrong?
The first two were PS1 games.
Yeah, I remember, it's interesting how they become so anime-y almost. I mean, they always had like an anime style, but it seems to have evolved to become a little bit brighter in a sense.
Well, I think that was like the evolution of Atlas, and once Persona 3 came around, like it started to really ramp up. That's when they introduced the whole like high school kind of thing, with the social links.
It was like a murder mystery, and
yeah, it was more than just an RPG.
Yeah, because those old ones were pretty fucking dark. It was like all about demons and fucking the underworld and shit.
And it became like, oh no, I gotta go to the swimming team by this time.
I find it amazing that that's what caught on. That's what made the series popular.
I mean, honestly, like, you just hear that, and it's so obscure, and I feel like you just can't help but love that idea. Even just from the outside looking in, that just sounds so cool.
I'm excited to see what, has had a lot of people have been saying this is the new Final Fantasy, which I find hard to believe, but I didn't play all the way through 4 on the PS2, so we'll see.
It's definitely grown in popularity, not nearly to the pedigree of Final Fantasy, just because that franchise has, but it's definitely risen to a considerable amount of fame, both in the East and the West.
We'll see. Do either Delilah, Cody, you guys Persona fans?
I've never played Persona.
I've played like the beginnings and then stopped. Not because I didn't like them, I just prioritize other games. JRPGs don't tend to be my priority. I jump into them every once in a while.
Well, there you have it.
I love a good JRPG, and I've always wanted to. I've always seen the draw to them, but yeah, I've just never got around to playing any of those.
Well, this one certainly has my attention, at least. I'm really digging the art style from the trailers. I like the whole... It's kind of like noir. I don't know. How do you pronounce noir? Is it just noir?
Noir.
Noir.
thing that has me, honestly, the thing that has me most excited about Persona 5 is the score.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's like very jazzy almost.
The first trailer, that music it's such a corny little phrase here. It's hit such a note with me.
Lol.
And I pre-ordered that premium edition immediately. Was it the soundtrack? And I feel like that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Got our JRPG news out of the way. So XCOM 2 is coming September 6th, 2016 to consoles. It's gotten a lot of praise on PC. XCOM 1 was a pretty fun turn-based strategy game. So, looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, they probably figured they can make an extra buck.
Yeah, especially because Enemy Unknown was very, very, very well received on consoles. So.
Oh, right. I completely forgot about that. So, that's something to look forward to, especially for turn-based fans. I'm a strategy fan myself, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Watch Dogs 2 was revealed. It's coming November.
Dogs.
Yeah, coming November 15th, 2016. We got there was some gameplay shown in that reveal, but it seemed more like a tech demo to me. There was just a lot of CG, and now every time I watch a fucking YouTube video, there's fucking CG people dancing all around. There's like dubstep going on. Some dude like shoving his phone in the screen. I'm like, what the fuck is this game about?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, when the main character's not hacking, he's apparently just hanging out on rooftops and like, jamming and raving on top of buildings.
Hey, but you know what? And this is the thing I wanted to interject about. Did you guys play the first Watch Dogs?
Did I play a demo? I don't even remember. I don't think I might not have played it at all.
The protagonist, Aiden Pierce.
Yeah, Aiden Pierce, yeah.
Was the most boring protagonist in a game I have played in the longest time. And the fact that this guy seems to have a personality, the fact that he's not Aiden Pierce at all, and the fact that this game takes place in San Francisco, which already just from the CG trailer alone, that city looks so much more interesting to explore than Chicago was in the first game.
Yeah, the Chicago in the first game looked pretty terrible, right? It was like really gray and like.
It's not even that. It's just it wasn't the most interesting city. The most interesting city to navigate. It was just a city. But you have San Francisco, which is like sitting at a bay, and you have that winding road, and you have all these like San Francisco hippies and stuff partying on the streets and the rooftops, and you got all this parkour that you're going to be doing. Already, this game, I'm cautiously optimistic about it, but I am surprised to be optimistic about it considering how I feel about the first one.
It kind of looked like, it reminded me of Second Son, just like the sort of feel of San Francisco and the kind of design that Seattle had.
Oh, Cody, you just brought a smile to my face, bringing up Second Son. Oh, boy.
You know the difference, though? The difference is that in Second Son, you were a fucking superhero that could fucking surf around on neon. I don't know how that works. It somewhat made sense when it was electricity, but neon.
Ride the wave, man.
Smoke powers, throwing smoke at people. No, I love Infamous. I'm really hoping that rumor about a collection coming out is true.
That would be fantastic.
Infamous 2 might actually be my favorite PlayStation 3 game. If I were to really think about it.
It's definitely the best Infamous game, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the best Infamous game, but I don't know, that's an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah. Save that for another time. But
yeah. Just got an idea.
Yeah, we just got an idea. But Watch Dogs 2, I actually I'm looking forward to seeing more, but I'm not quite sold on it yet. I want to see more about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this a thumbs down simply because the other one looked good, didn't come out good. Don't trust them with the genre, generally speaking, and quite frankly, I'm bored of real world locations in games. I was looking forward, it all started back with the Division. I was so looking forward to New York in like this, what I thought was going to be kind of a post-apocalyptic, post-biological weapons setting. Or terrorist attack, I should say, setting. And then I realized while I'm playing the game, like, fuck, I live in New York. This isn't fun. Right. and I mean, the game also just sucked. And guess what, folks? From the same people. But, I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I just want to point out you're tired of real world settings. How often is San Francisco done?
Oh, I don't know.
Which is why I'm kind of like, maybe keep this on your radar.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see how it shapes up. Again, like, I'm just not buying the promise right now. Especially from, like, a trailer that's, like, 80% CG.
And I understand that. And the caveat I want to add is just that I'm sold on the idea. I'm waiting to see more, and that's why I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm sold on this idea. Delilah, what did you want to say?
No, I mean, I have, like, a personal vendetta against Ubisoft right now. I've been, like... There's been, like, this consistent thing of, like, them showing games, even back to Assassin's Creed Unity, and, like, wow, that looks really good. Co-op, oh my god, the way you, like, traverse the buildings looks, like, so much more improved. Everything looks so good, and then when you play the game, it's kind of like, it's good, but it's just underwhelming.
You have that glitch where all you see is, like, the character's eyes and teeth.
Oh my god, that game is, like, unplayable at first. So
yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity was pretty much Beetlejuice, the video game.
Even if it wasn't trying.
But yeah, so with this personal vendetta, I will not be pre-ordering it, and I will not be buying it day one at least. When it comes out, people are like, "Oh, this is great! It's so much better! It's improved." Then I'll consider getting it. But I'm not gonna, as good as it looks, and I'm just not falling for it. It's not gonna happen.
That's pretty much the same boat I'm in. Like I'm sold. Like I said, I'm sold on the idea, but after how I felt about the first one, and after, like, of course we all know the stigma around Ubisoft launching these big titles, as far as them actually coming through on their promise. Like, I'm definitely not going to get this one day one like I did with the first one.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to seeing what they have to put in it.
For sure. Yeah, I was just going to say, all right, so on one hand, when Ubisoft makes a game, usually their second game is much, much better. So if Watch Dogs could really benefit from a sequel, but they've been on this slump lately. So it's like, is the second one going to be better, or is it going to be like every game that's been coming out the past, like, 2 years that they've been, falling behind?
Right.
So I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence with this, but I'm not going to get a day one, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially when, like, The Division literally died as a game. Like,
yep.
Entire YouTube channels just, like, went offline, or, like, just went back to Destiny, like, shortly after The Division came out. And, it was largely because they either didn't do things they said they were going to do to support it, or the things they did do sucked, and, like, literally game mechanics were just broken in ways that, like, I don't understand how they were seen beforehand. Now, granted, this is much different than Watch Dogs, which is a single-player game.
Yeah.
But, like,
mostly single-player.
Yeah, but, like, I guess the point I'm getting to is that we are already hearing rumors that Ubisoft is working on a new IP that's like one of those kind of persistent online things in the similar vein to Destiny and The Division. Like, how about you fucking fix The Division,
Yeah.
So, like, well, yeah, I'm on Delilah's boat here.
Well, I mean, I'm on the same boat. What I'm hoping the case is, I'm hoping it's another case of Assassin's Creed, where the first Assassin's Creed was a good proof of concept, but a not so good execution. The same is true of the first Watch Dogs. But Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and it's so well renowned, and people constantly telling people that haven't been into Assassin's Creed, like, don't skip the first one, just go to the second one. I'm hoping that's what happens with Watch Dogs.
I guess
but that was Ubisoft in its prime.
I guess my experience is that I was never a huge fan of Assassin's Creed at all. Like, not even the second one.
But I'm hoping that's going to be the case with Watch Dogs, and maybe even to an extent, this is, like, off topic, just if they decide to do a Division 2, maybe they improve upon that, and it actually is, I guess a quote-unquote good game.
Not even good, just working.
Working, okay. There you go.
Because, like, The Division also had problems just in the sense that it's a loot grinding game, but all of the loot is literally the same. It's all just M4s. You're just grinding for the same M4 over and over again. But regardless, that's another topic. let's move on.
Yeah, these dogs are barking. So
yeah, Injustice 2 leaked / was revealed. Yeah.
Batman's back.
Yeah. Cool.
Hooray.
This is a story that had a tale. I'm not going to get too into it because we don't have too much time. So Destiny Rise of Iron was officially confirmed by Bungie after having been rumored for a long time.
And then leaked.
Yeah, there was...
And then leaked again.
Yeah, so, like, Bungie held a stream actually yesterday revealing everything about it. So Rise of Iron will be an expansion. It will be a full expansion priced at $30. It's coming September 20th, 2016. It's going to have new zones. It's got a full campaign, light increase, new strikes. It's got a new raid. Just overall thoughts. I think, Delilah, you're the only one here who's really played Destiny, right?
Unfortunately.
I've played a considerable amount of Destiny.
Oh, that's right. You platinumed it, right?
No, I wish.
Oh.
I did.
Wait, yeah, because you would have to have Flawless Raider to platinum it.
Yeah, and I've never done a raid, so...
Oh, you poor child.
But I've done pretty much everything but... Except for
the raids,
I didn't
the raids are the heart of that game.
Well, I'll get to it eventually.
Nah, don't do it.
The game is great. Like, it's just, you have to be a certain... Like, I think Mark would enjoy it much more than you, Delilah, because Mark, like me, is a Diablo fan.
Yeah.
And we're loot grinders. That's who we are.
Well, I mean, I'm also a Diablo fan, and I also love loot, but the issue with Destiny is you can be spending 5 to 20 hours a week trying to get loot, and you'll just never get improved loot, and, like, the RNG is really what turned me off about the game, besides the imbalancing of the PvP and whatever, but
yeah,
just, I can't spend 5 hours doing a raid and then not get something that's better.
You are right that for a long time the game did suffer from that, but that has... At this point, at least, it mostly was fixed with the Taken King, but the April update, you're literally getting... the system's built so that you get incremental upgrades in terms of your loot. Like, you can't not. So, it has been largely fixed. Just to put that out there. I have to defend Destiny. There has to be somebody.
I mean, another thing is there was like the when you get the swords, like the different elemental swords. You know, I did the Void one, and I had to spend hours on Mars.
The grind, yeah.
Farming for material, and it didn't feel worth it. Like I spent too many hours just like rotting away finding those materials, and I just can't do that. Like maybe if I was like 12 and I didn't have a job and stuff, but like I can't do that.
No, I definitely feel you on that.
Trophy hunter, folks. So
yeah, well, the trophy. There's something about that pop that's more.
No. Hey,
I'm questioning your
Delilah,
dedication here, Delilah.
I am totally with you on that. Like when you hear that ding, when you see that pop, like there's just that weird, ridiculous feeling of satisfaction.
Called an addiction.
Yeah. Maybe if that sword gave me a trophy, I might have felt better about it.
See, I also, for me personally, I like the way Bungie handles story, cinematics, lore. And granted, vanilla Destiny is pretty infamous for having a botched story that was like sliced and diced. But like, it's gotten, especially if you pay attention to like the details of the lore, like in the flavor text for guns and stuff, like the way things piece together. And granted, it's pretty bad that a lot of it is in Grimoire cards outside of the game, but it pieces together in a really cool way, and it is building to like a larger conflict that's... I don't know. I like it for a lot of different reasons. I like the aesthetic. I love the gunplay. That's just me, though.
Like, the way the game plays, I think is fine.
Definitely.
I feel like it's everything else surrounding it that, I don't know, turns most people off, and eventually kind of turned myself off.
I wouldn't say most people, because it has a huge player base.
Oh, it does, yeah. But eventually, I feel like it did lose a...
Yeah, no, it definitely... There are slopes, like, it goes up and down with content releases of the active player base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, enough Destiny talk, because there's probably the biggest story, and, you know, we've already gone almost 40 minutes without talking about it.
PlayStation 4.
Yeah, PlayStation 4 Neo has been confirmed by Andrew House earlier today. to what was it, the Financial Times, I believe.
The Financial Times.
And it won't be at E3. So that's one bet off the table.
My goodness. What? Why?
I think it's smart to not have it at E3, and I'm kind of happy it's not there.
Explain.
More time for games.
True.
Okay.
You can have your own event, or you can show it off at PlayStation Experience.
I almost want them to do it sooner than that, maybe at Gamescom. I'd rather PlayStation Experience be about any games as it possibly be about, rather than talking about hardware for most of it, you know?
The problem I think we fall into is that Sony is going to be, like we were discussing earlier in this episode, Sony is going to be hard-pressed to actually have some, tangible games that are coming out this year.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, and I think it's a double entendre. They also now are in a pressured position since it kind of got out there.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little actually surprised that it took them this long to say anything.
Well, like I said before, I think that whole leak about the official PlayStation policy, I don't think that was a leak. I think PlayStation just handed Polygon the paper.
That's possible. Put out. But I can't help but feel a little disappointed that on this long, finally we get a confirmation, and then we find out we're not really finding anything out about it anytime soon.
I don't blame you, especially since you had like 5 Sony-centric episodes about it. Speculation.
Yeah, we've been talking even more so than Uncharted. We've been talking about this like so much for a while now.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And I wonder what happens when it turns out it just has 400k output and it barely affects the actual games.
Yeah, I mean,
what happens when we all got up and got all our panties in a bunch for nothing?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that Andrew House said, in the interview. That it is to target the hardcore gamers, and it's to target those with a 4K television that want more high resolution content. I feel like the majority of us and the majority of people, in the PlayStation Nation, so to speak, only fit one of those two bills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is the hardcore gamer aspect. But 4K, while it's getting cheaper, it's still not in majority of households.
Right, but I think it's future-proofing.
It is future-proofing. You're right, and we have talked about this at length. I don't feel we really need to go into.
It's like DVDs in PlayStation 2.
Right. we don't need to go too much in depth about this. It was all. I think we've also brought this up before. It's also not even just DVDs. Too. It's Blu-ray and PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's all about porn. Is the long and short of it.
Yeah.
Whatever medium porn chooses is which way to go.
Jason, they're putting out PlayStation VR. Of course, it's all about porn.
VR porn. Come on.
Oh my god.
So, it's a thing.
It is
apparently.
A thing.
There are articles about it.
There will be a porn company. I think they're called Naughty America or something at E3.
Oh, come on, Mark. We all know you know what it's called.
I forget.
Don't play coy.
I don't remember what it's called.
I actually forget what it's called. No, I really do.
All right, I'll be the one. It is called Naughty America.
Oh, there we go. See, I was right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's called Bang Bros. I don't know. Anyway,
no, I really want actually for the I guess for maybe we do an impressions thing on the conference. Please take an image of Shuhei Yoshida and maybe someone else on stage and just put the Brazzers logo in the corner.
Oh god. Oh god. I thought you were going in a completely different direction with that, and I got this image in my. Never mind.
Just kidding. Love you, Shu.
Oh shit.
Anyway.
Well, I will say that I have a 4K TV, and I consider myself to be a hardcore gamer, sort of.
Yeah.
But I'm not interested. I want to maximize my PS4.
Exactly. Like, you know what? Another thing is, we've also talked about this at length. We don't need to go too much into depth about this, but how are they going to sell this to the people that already have PS4s and have had PS4s like launch or since a year after launch? They're going to hit us and the other 40 million people that have purchased the system already with, there's a new system that runs better.
Well, I think the majority of us here, if not all of us, are economically restrained. I think when Andrew House says the hardcore gamer, he's talking about the people who have like fucking $1,600 PC rigs and a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One and a fucking Wii U. And believe me, there are people who have all that. There are a lot of people.
I know.
It's called NeoGAF.
No, I know those people are there, but that doesn't. That's not necessarily the majority of their.
No, I agree with you.
You don't want to isolate a big chunk of your user base by making a more expensive system now available and now much more superior to standard system. And what's another interesting quote from this story is that Andrew House said that the PlayStation Neo, it's intended to sit alongside and complement the standard PS4.
Yes.
And that both will be sold through the life cycle. So I kind of wonder what he means by that. I kind of wonder how much better this system is going to perform than the standard one if it's not going to just outright replace it.
Again, I think for me personally, the big takeaway in this piece of news was that it won't be at E3. I don't think we've really learned anything about the Neo itself or their plans.
And then that's also why I'll go ahead and say this one last time. And they have said something now. Wait until they reveal it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Arms about anything, because we're still being kept in the dark, even now that we know that it's officially a thing.
Yeah, that's really the big takeaway, is that Sony said something publicly and that it's not going to be at E3. But, and Cody, Delilah, any final thoughts before we close out here?
Nope, not really. Just ready for the Final Fantasy stuff. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yo, real talk, the best announcement out of this week, hands down, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Now, let's go around the corner. Let's go around the corner. Let's go around the circle. Like, what's your favorite like thing to be announced this week?
Yeah, I agree with you full-heartedly. I mean, we've been waiting for this announcement since, well, wasn't there like some drunk composer or something? He was like one of the composers for...
Arnie Roth mentioned something about a Final Fantasy 12 remake, and everybody...
He was doing the score for it.
Everybody was really confused. What? Did you mean 7? And he had to go on Facebook and issue a public apology saying, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that the game is being remade. I meant that the music is being recomposed or whatever the fuck he said. But he didn't outright deny. He didn't outright deny that there was something being made. He just said that that's not what he meant to say.
Yeah. To be fair, for those of you who don't know, there is this thing. It's a regular concert that tours around the world called Distant Worlds. I actually own all 3 CDs.
Oh, la-di-da, look at you.
But it is
rich.
orchestrated. Orchestrated. I actually don't own the CDs. They all happen to be on Spotify. And I just have a playlist.
All right, I don't own them. I torrented them. I'm sorry.
Hey, I don't torrent. I'm not a pirate.
Good man. Good man.
Bloody pirate.
Funny thing about Distant Worlds is that they were playing last year in New Jersey about a month after I left for Japan.
Oh.
I was really bummed out.
I feel for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to be fair, that composer was working on Distant Worlds, so he may have very well just been working on the next Distant Worlds composition. But he probably wasn't. He probably was working on this game. But yeah, we've been waiting. Yeah. We've been waiting for this announcement for a while, and it's finally here.
I've frankly, we've been waiting for it since Square said if 10 and 10.2 HD remaster sells well, we'll consider doing 12. They put that hope in our minds, and I've personally been waiting ever since. And it's finally happened.
Yeah, that was my favorite piece of news. Definitely, I can't wait to get hold of it.
My favorite was Destiny. JK. JK.
That's my second favorite. Just gonna put it out there just to spite you.
Aw. No, I'm with you with the Zodiac Age.
So it's unanimous. Final Fantasy
Definitely,
XII, greatest of all time.
Yo, because we all love Van and his fucking skeleton abs. Seriously though, take a look. Take a look at them.
Don't take shots at my man Vaughn. Like, come on.
I'm gonna put up in the actual podcast, the video. I'm gonna put up a screenshot of his fucking look. Just the model. It looks so fucking weird.
It does, and it looks a little better in the HD version, but it still looks weird.
Speaking of which, if you look at some of the early comparison screenshots, like the work they've done to tighten up those models and just the graphics generally, it looks so much better than Final Fantasy X remastered.
It even looks like better. I mean, it looks a lot better than Final Fantasy XII original, and that's saying a lot because that game up really well graphically.
It took a lot of advantage of just it used aesthetics and artistic direction to its advantage. It's very much like Shadow of the Colossus, which is like graphically and technically it's kind of a shitty looking game, but just the art direction really carries it.
And it makes it beautiful. Frankly, it takes something that's not, the best looking thing, but still manages to turn out something absolutely gorgeous.
Which is something you kind of had to do in the PS2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, plus
that was also
it released like at the end of the towards the end of the life, so it sort of
exactly
took
what I was
advantage
about to
of what
say.
it had. Yeah,
exactly what I was about to say. It was one of the PS2 swan songs. I feel right before PS3 launched.
So, any final thoughts on any of these news pieces before we break for our final prayer?
Are we gonna hold hands while we pray?
We'll hold hands and we'll sing worship to the Outerhaven, and all the links and all the plugs that I'll put in there.
Sounds good.
Okay, folks, I know it just got a little weird, but pulling it back, this has been SonyCentric, the Outerhaven's official PlayStation podcast. I'm your host, Jason Kwasnicki. I was joined today by Delilah Lugo at Assassina-san, Mark Sullivan at Nibelheimian, and Cody Maynard at CF Maynard, aka Cody Odie, because he's a odious little bastard. Just kidding, Cody. Yeah, that was terrible. Oh my god. If you like this video, please like the video at the bottom. Jesus Christ. This is like Mark level of outro right now.
Excuse me, princess. Let me do an outro once in a while. I'll show you my skills, man.
Okay. Skills that kills right here. Head on over to www.youtube.com/theouterhavennet for all that video goodness. We got some other podcasts for you. We got Experience, the new Xbox podcast. Yes, we're shoving in plugs for the enemy right now. We also got the Outerhaven podcast. Please check out all that. And if you want some written content, some reviews, some fantastic news writing, head on over to www.theouterhaven.net. Folks, peace out.
Later.
Peace.
Cody.
Oh, sorry.
Oh man, he's taking my spot.
I know, I was just about to say.
No.
We're waiting on you, Cody.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Say bye to everyone.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.